Ruto to be safe. We want William Ruto to be alive and to be well. We want to have the opportunity to humiliate him in the ballot.
Former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua taking quite some time to address this issue of the breach of security of the president. And we're now joined on set by Advice Mundalo, who's a leadership and communications expert. Karibu sana Bwana Mundalo.
Asante.
And questions do arise about even that response by the former Deputy President. Is it political fodder, or do you see, even from a communication standpoint, that he has genuine concerns about the security of the president?
Thank you very much, Fred, for having me here. I think political fodder or not, from a strategic standpoint, I think that was quite strategic of Rigathi Gachagua to actually make that response. One, it portrayed him in light that many people don't see him, more or less as a statesman, because I feel like the one thing that came out very openly on the day that there was that breach in security is that all Kenyans actually came out to say this should not happen. It was not a question of one term or two term. It was not a question of which side do I support. It was a question of all Kenyans were in consensus that this is actually wrong. That actually just showed us how heavily we actually place our importance on the office and the institution of the presidency. So for me, I really think it was a good thing for Rigathi Gachagua to actually come out and put out that statement. Whether he was doing it for his own political expediency or not, it came out in good light, because he was just being able to resonate with what the rest of the Kenyans were actually saying, that, you know what, we must be able to ensure that the president is protected at all times. And it's not just because of the person of the presidency, but the institution of the presidency. Because I agree with him that anything happens to the person holding that office, then you cannot be able to foretell what then happens to the rest of the country, because it's not just an individual, it's actually an institution. Right. So for me, it was actually very good that he came out to do that. I was hoping that many other leaders would also be able to come out and do that, because it has not happened for the very first time. This breach is, I think, happening now for the fifth or fourth time around there. And I think someone needed to address this matter. Right. Because like for this particular one, it was not just a question of someone attempting to get at the president. This was a question of someone actually got to the president. Actually, the president himself saw the person before the security did. Mm-hmm. And you could be able to see him a bit startled in his speech and almost having a moment of saying, what's happening here? Yeah. And this guy actually comes up to him. He has time to wrap his hand around the shoulder of the president. I think it's about almost 5-second split before you see the first response. I think that showed us that there is actually a problem with the security system around the president. I think in my own estimation, which I might be wrong, I think that the president's formula of dealing with people, he is so close to the people and he wants to interact so much and he's so easy with people that sometimes his security also forgets that they are not supposed to be just part of the people, and they should not just be causing to the easiness of the president, but they should be remembering that they should be doing the work of protecting the president.
How does he change that 14 months to election?
And he's not supposed to change it, because that is the person, that's the character of the president. He's the one who will get. And you can be able to see even yesterday, Fred, you sometimes you learn that we learn nothing from history. Mm-hmm. When the president was interacting in the markets in Mombasa, you wouldn't feel like he had just
carrying babies.
Yeah, he was carrying babies, and that is him, because we don't prescribe the type of person we must have at State House. Mm-hmm. This is the president who wants to interact with his people. So it is your duty as the security to ensure that you formulate the security at your best, so that it can take care of him. It is not about you changing the president to your format, because if it's that, then security is very easy. Then anyone can do it.
Do you think that that's what happened, that they adopted to the style of the president, became a bit reluctant, even with the crowds? We've seen the number of crowds, the kind of crowds that go to State House.
Yeah.
10,000 people, 15,000 people.
Yes.
Don't you think that's a risk as well?
Yeah, and that's, I'm saying, you see, the president has to operate the way he wants to operate. But you as the security must be able to adapt to the operations of the president. Mm-hmm. It's not the other way around. It's not the president who changes for you. It is you who must ensure that this kind of president, this is not a laid-back president. This is a president who wants to, you could be able to see even President Uhuru Kenyatta at some point used to drive himself sometimes around town. So it is your job as the security to ensure that whatever he does, he is safe. You must not be able to work in such a manner that you want the president to work on your terms so that then he is safe. Then your work will be very limiting.
Yes.
Because the issue is that the president is easy with people. The president wants to interact with people. The president will be, and I think that character of his security, instead of adapting to protecting that character of the president, they also are easy up to the president. And so sometimes also they become part of the spectacle. They are also watching him.
I've seen part of the coverage of that story that some people are even complaining that the people around the president, some of them are too powerful and have too much influence over anyone handling the president. People like his aide Farouk Kibet, and he could